everybody. I hope y'all had a good Thanksgiving and that your break, if you had one, is going well. I have all my pillows and stuff just all stacked up in y'all's way. Anyway, so I'm back. If you're watching this, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Okay, here we go. Review of Love After Lockup, Life After Lockup, High Risk Lies, Season 5, Episode 49. So I guess this is like a mid-season finale, because Love During Lockup comes on the 15th. Although because they didn't seem to leave us with like a preview. Or I didn't see it. Y'all let me know in the comments. Anyway, let's start with Teenie and Rob. This is such a mess. So he's talking to the kids and asking how he thinks things are going to go with his mother coming over. They know. Teenie, however, does not. All right. So he said giving up on his mom is not an option. You know, he really wants it to work out because he wants them to be a family and that kind of thing. Now, he is inviting his mom over without the knowledge of Teenie. She ought to whoop your ass next, Rob. Okay? She really should. Now, she's at work. We see Teenie at work. She's a paralegal. I said, oh, the irony of him being in trouble or having been in trouble. Now, my thing is, they let them cameras into where she works and she don't own the spot. They looking for attention. They're looking for advertisement. Okay? I mean, those are maybe the kind of people they try to get out of help. I mean, I'm just saying. Or get out of trouble, I mean. So anyway, meanwhile, Teenie tells us she feels like she got a piece of her life back while working, that working actually feels good. And I was like, I bet. I mean, I know it can be exhausting, but having your own money, your ability to be able to take care of yourself if anything happens, you don't have to go back and forth about no fucking water park pass and all this other old stuff. Anyway, his mom comes over. His mother's name being Kate throws me every time. And I know, and I hate to do this because I know but everything about her says not Kate. How about that? All right. Anyway, so conveniently, despite it being Teenie's first day at work, okay, and her kids are deciding how well they think she's doing or whatever, she picks up her phone and checks the cameras that follows everybody around the house. There is nothing normal or cute about that. That's why I don't trust this relationship. I don't. I think what it is ultimately going to end up in is a lot of control and abuse. Teenie, this is only going to get worse. He has one of those mothers who you can tell did not do a good job raising him, not simply because he got in trouble, but because she expects him to play a parental role toward her. And you can tell she's still young. She's in her 50s. And I'm just guessing that because of Rob's age. So my thing is she's very much able-bodied and everything. And I don't care how well he hides it. He's the kind of man who will take that out on every single woman that he is with. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. That's why them cameras are there. To see what you doing, to follow you around and control you. Because that's what he learned women do behind your back. From watching her. Just saying. All right. Anyway, so his mama shows up to the house with his brother Rashawn. His brother hadn't even seen him or whatever. And that's also why you don't need those cameras. Because see, Teenie, you can't even focus on your job. You don't need to know everything that's happening at your house all the time. That is weird. You can't focus on your job. You're too busy on that phone. This is just your first day. And was it me or could she hear what they were saying? Damn, so not only do they get to see what's happening in the house, they get to hear stuff. Your kids can't have no privacy. They can't develop no bond knowing y'all doing. I mean, get out of here with that. Anyway, the mother starts complaining about how she hasn't seen him. I was like, even though you've been ignoring him for weeks. Anyway, the kids are upstairs looking out the window. I don't know what you expected. Okay, and trust and believe. They will tell their mother everything. So the mother, Kate, is a typical selfish mother who did not do a good job with her kids growing up. And expects then her kids to take good care of her when she's older. I can't. So she said she came to the house to vindicate her name. Essentially letting us know as the viewership, okay, what really happened. We saw what happened, honey. Anyway, she said, me getting in a fight, whatever, that's not my character anymore. I thought I'd die. I was like, well, you do everything to pick a fight. You did that shit in a restaurant. You, girl, bye. Just because you moved to antagonize people to the point of no return, you fighting with that mouth. Anyway, because his father had already spilled the tea on her, because he told him that story, and he was still like, your mama too old to be like that. So she claims that Teenie hit her first. And he's saying, first of all, I don't play about anybody disrespecting my mother or hitting my mother. I would have never gone for that. And I'm sitting up here like, Rob, let me tell you something. I believe Teenie was triggered. Her active dismissal, disrespect toward Teenie, perpetually ignoring things that she sent her for Mother's Day or money she may have passed along. Speaking of which, his brother, weren't they supposed to own something together, and he was getting money from him too in some kind of business, but they haven't seen each other? I'm just saying, that's what I thought. I could be getting somebody's story mixed up. I'm just saying. But Rob, however, I'm just going to tell you this. Teenie definitely touched your mother. I'm not saying she wasn't triggered. I'm not saying your mother didn't create the situation. Because I think he's remembering it like, no, you got up and got in her face and yeah. And rah this and rah that. Now, Teenie had walked back over. That woman was overdue. But, okay, but the eyes don't lie. She touched your mama first. Now, Rob, in fairness, you were being flipped, turned, tossed, roll, hit, slap. We can't expect you to remember that completely. We can't. It happened really fast, and they were just tussling, and you got caught up in the middle of it. So I'm gonna let that slide. But Teenie knows she did it first. Teenie remembers. Okay. Anyway, so Justine and Michael. Justine has had 10 doctor's appointments this month alone because she is so high risk. Justine, you need to be really careful in the future. You just do. I do think men should really take the role, especially Michael, after she's gone through all of this, to get a vasectomy. Y'all have enough children. And I say that because her body needs a rest. And I know it'll already be open from the kind of surgery, but tying tubes is still a surgery. Michael, you could do her a solid, okay? Now, the doctor talks about the placenta and that if anything happens to it, you have to understand that the baby doesn't get nutrients or food, and you run the risk of a stillbirth. Even if you have the baby, like, it'll be born dead, essentially. They're trying to get to the delivery quickly to ensure a safe delivery. So the doctor is like, Monday, which apparently it was like maybe Friday or Saturday. The uterus may not have had enough time to heal. The doctor explains that to her because she had her pregnancies so close back to back, which is why there may be issues. Honestly, that's very scary. And I kind of feel like the pain for her, even though I don't know what it is to have a baby, but something about it seems very dangerous. Not just because she's saying it sounds dangerous. So they're sending her into delivery on Monday. So Michael says, look, you need to call your mother because she needs to be here. And Justine is like, I don't want to bother my mother, this, that, and the other. Michael was right. There are times where, yes, you need to articulate this to your mother. I mean, who better? And he knows how his mother is. It's not the same thing. You do need your mom for stuff like this. So she tells her mom, she calls her mother picks up, and Justine has an attitude. And Justine has been through a lot today, okay? She's been through a lot. But Justine tells her mom, look, I have an emergency and I need you to come out here. And she was like, okay, well, like when? And she goes, like, tonight. She said, I just told you it was an emergency. And Michael is just whispering to her, like, tell them what it is. Justine doesn't tell her mother what the emergency is. And Justine, you've already kept the whole pregnancy a secret. But the tone of your voice and the lack of explanation was not helpful. Because I felt for you, because you do need your mother, and your mother does need to be more supportive of you. Also, did anybody else notice how Justine's braids were too tight? Like, her scalp was red. And speaking of which, I think that's another reason why Zaria's face breaks out. Because I think she gets cheap hair, or hair she's allergic to. Just things I'm noticing. Because Justine's hair, usually is on point. Now, apparently the mom and the stuff Justine was saying, I know some of y'all got in the comments and said her mother co-signed on the house and she's tired of taking care of these kids. But The stuff Justine was saying, I'm sorry, I feel bad for her. I really do. Apparently, the mom has not supported her in any of her pregnancies. She said when she was 17, because she was 17, she didn't let the teenage father in during the birth. And she said, I felt like he should have been there. I agree. I agree. Then she said with her like second child, she refused to even come to the hospital if the father was there. Like, why do you need to do all of that? Why? For the other one, the third kid, she said she wouldn't even drive her to the hospital. And let's be clear, emergency ambulances and things like that for pregnancies, all that stuff is very expensive, particularly if like you can still get to the hospital. She was like, I had to walk. And I'm just like, there's no reason for that. I'm sorry. Now, I know that I mess up all the time and my mother still loves, but I know my mother would be right there for me. And that must be tough. And I was like, dang, Justine's mama, you worse than I thought. I was willing to give her benefit of the doubt, but like, that's inexcusable to me. So Justine insists on putting this baby's first party together. I said, oh my gosh, girl, let it go. You might be dead. What the fuck is wrong with you? She won't know she's having a party, Justine. She won't. And I can tell by the kind of person you are. I can't imagine how many pictures of you and your baby, you, your baby and Michael, you, your baby and all them kids have together, okay? God bless you. I hope don't nothing happen to you. It doesn't seem like it. But I'm just saying, like, miss me with the bullshit. Don't worry about this fucking party. I think Michael actually did a great job being supportive, which I wasn't sure of, especially since he goes around breaking phones and punching walls and shit. But nevertheless, moving on. Kimberly and Joey. And I hate to laugh because I don't mean to laugh at people with addictions. So I was expecting her to say, we haven't talked in like 3 days. They haven't talked since last night. And he on the couch. When he tested positive for cocaine. And he's in the den smoking. Don't try to act like you gonna leave him. But I knew Kimberly, whatever your name is, stop. Stop playing with us. He's in the same clothes he was in last night. He ain't take no shower. He ain't wash. Nothing. Oh, can you imagine how he was messing up that furniture? Ugh. Anyway, Kimberly, why are you telling us you don't think Joey will ever tell you the truth? You don't need him to tell the truth. That test told you. Faulty positives may come up. Sometimes if you've had a poppy seed muffin, perhaps. Not for cocaine, though. Okay? And then you talking about, I Googled it. It at least stays in your system 3 days. Girl, you know the truth. Stop. Now, when he got around to another drug test, that third one, he may have just had THC or whatever. But nevertheless, he on drugs. He's acting like somebody on drugs. He insists the drug test was wrong. He's taking another drug test and believe the drug test results will be different. Like 4 hours later? Like, what the hell? He's drugged up. He's the kind of person, that's why he believed that drug test would be different. He believed a butterfly was Tinkerbell in real life. When you that kind of messed up in the head, that's what will happen. Not to mention you already had a problem before this. He takes another drug test, hasn't showered, ain't helped make breakfast for the kids, ain't done nothing. Okay, so now all of a sudden he passed the drug test. I said he probably put toilet bowl water in it, whatever it was. I'm not buying it. He is literally walking around like an addict. His behavior is giving drug addict. The red in the face, what do you want from me? Like he's not seeing clearly. He's not hearing clearly. He is a burden to you. Then they went on to have this nonsensical conversation. I couldn't follow it. Stop talking about trust. Trust is a non-starter with these two. You don't know who the full father is of one of your kids. And the man you engaged to while still married to this other man is an addict. Miss me, okay? Y'all both living raggedy. Anyway, so she's crying in the car. All of a sudden, we get this scene with her because Joey's going to miss her son's first day of kindergarten, her son's birthday, and her birthday. I said, huh? How'd we get here? What? So what if he misses that first day of kindergarten? Girl, shut up. Anyway, apparently he had Delta 8/THC in his system, something akin to weed. It's not illegal, but it's still a drug. That's where I was getting confused, right? So it's not illegal. Well, cigarettes aren't illegal either. Would that put him back in prison? Like, you know what I mean? It's not clear to me. So anyway, the parole officer requires that he goes back to a 90-day drug rehab program. Regardless, he still has this shit in his system because he needs the drug stuff. She says, well, I've been lying to my kids, this, that, and the other. That's your fault. That's your fault. She says, I know it's crazy as it sounds, I still love him. Bitch, we knew you weren't going to leave him. We knew you weren't. Joey is nothing to check for, but you want a man so bad, and you still trying to take a man from your cousin in high school. That ain't going to never sit right with me. Just like Zaria being with Troy ain't going to never sit right with me. So being a single mom, she's like, being a single mom is hard. I said, all the women who go, especially black women, who have to pay for everything by themselves, and black men treat them like they are, somehow when you have multiple kids, then your value goes down, like they had these kids by their fucking self. I don't want to hear about no white woman who can get a brand new house, being a teacher's assistant, can buy a second car for a man who just got out of jail, complain about how things are hard for her. Your hard isn't regular kind of hard. So fuck you, okay? She's paying for everything like she was before. Bitch, it should be easier because your little boys don't have your debit card spending money left and right. Miss me, okay? What you miss is dick. Next, so they were still able to get a new house. That's mind-blowing to me. Not moving to an apartment, a new house. Like, what the hell? White people have access to credit lines that we could never imagine. Because your credit can be very good. It can be two black people going in to buy a house, so on and so forth, married. They will still deny. There are so many people who have written stories about this. People who have told me stories about this. People who just don't want to lend to black people. And don't think, because it's through the computer. They don't know. Everything goes to that computer. Everything comes up. They will literally deny you. And I'm just like, you're a teacher's assistant living in a southern state, which typically underfunds education, and she's living heavily on the child support of this man who she claims was addicted to something. But he's paying you $2,500 a month in child support? Girl, bye. Tatum comes over. I guess this is Tatum's recompense for all she's been through. Anyway, her justice, should I say. So Tatum comes over. She asked where Joey was. And she told him that he was in rehab. And Tatum looked like she wanted to laugh in her face. I ain't gonna lie. And you know what, Kimberly, at this point, you deserve it. Because Tatum has been a little too nice through this process. She could not hide her joy. Tatum was like, well, you deserve a better man. I was like, no, she don't. But okay. Kimberly was like, he's in rehab because he wants to be. I mean, he would have to go to prison, but I mean, you can get jugs in prison. I said, girl, if you don't stop playing with us, because at this point, you ain't even just talking to Tatum. You trying to convince us otherwise. We're not here for it. We don't see it for you or him. You did your cousin dirty, and now the trouble won't stop. Tatum is not surprised that he got back on drugs. I'm sure her father, wherever he is, isn't surprised, even though he shouldn't have given her that $7,000 down payment after he stole that bike and you ain't never got justice. Anyway, and she was like, well, now, my kids were calling him daddy before he left. That's your fault. That's your fault. Them kids are way too young, and since that other man is still paying child support, I don't give a damn whether he's around or not. That shouldn't have been happening. You don't know him well enough out of jail yet. As an adult male. You don't know him like that. And having men come in and out your kids' lives just because you don't want to be alone, it's some messy stuff. So it's not like you're not a cheater too. So now her sons are acting out. She says because they miss him. I was like, blame yourself. Blame yourself. Apparently, she has the DNA test. And it's just been sitting in the drawer. She don't want to know. All right. And she says she doesn't want to open it because then she'll have to tell him. I was like, no, you don't. You don't have to tell him this shit. You do not. What are you waiting for him to come home and y'all deal with it? It's better he be far away. She said, because I don't want to trigger him. No, girl. Your concerns came out 10 seconds later. It's paying that child support back that your husband, who's still your husband, has been paying. Don't none of them kids look black. Not even a little bit. Why aren't you pushing through with that divorce? Since you got time on your hands instead of buying a new house, you should have taken care of that paperwork. Anyway, speaking of another crazy mess up, but not Melissa and Louie. Louie, please run. Please run. And I really do mean this, because you have really worked hard to like do something with yourself. And for some reason, you want to make this crazy bitch happy. And she insists on being miserable. Anyway, so they leave the bridal shop. Melissa's sister takes Donna's crazy ass home, wherever that is. I thought that would be back there with them. Anyway, her friend asked her to get her ring appraised to check and see if it was real. Melissa, your friend is a fucking hater. I don't give a fuck whether I think you're crazy or not. My friends have made plenty of bad decisions and decisions that I question. I'll never get in their business that deep. First of all, it never turns out well. They're going to end up siding with that man anyway. But also, somebody who's dedicated to seeing you unhappy when you're already prone to unhappiness is not your fucking friend. Okay, so Melissa was like, it bothers her that her friend, I think her name is, and her sister are concerned about the ring. I was like, fuck them. Like, her sister, a little different. But like her, no. Like, you went straight to the appraisal place, straight there. At her request. After trying on wedding dresses. That couldn't have been a fun day. Because you go in there to investigate Louie. They just want to make sure it wasn't fake. Okay, that's not an immediate need. The gemologist was like, no, it's real. I have no doubt it's real. And he's looking at everything. He said, no, it's a real diamond. And the man said, they asked about the price. Well, how much is it? You know, this, that, and the other. And the man said, probably low 20s, but I'll go and check. And it ended up being appraised at $24,000. And the jewelry guy did say he gave him a discount or whatever. Melissa goes, well, I mean, seriously, she's talking to her friend like this isn't her fiance. Like, this isn't her man. Like, let me tell you something. And I am one of those people, I'm also very private for many reasons that I won't get into. But when you're with somebody, and because I'm very, very hesitant to trust anybody anyway, when you're with somebody, gossiping about them with a friend is unacceptable. Now, maybe you vent into one of your sisters or something like that privately is a different story, because it has to go somewhere. But my thing is for you to sit there and go, how many pizzas did he make? Bitch, what the hell? If he doesn't work, you complain. If he's working too much, you complaining. If he's training people, you complaining. If he doesn't train people and can't buy you the ring of your dreams, you complaining. Like, miss me. You told him you wanted it. He saved the money to take care of you and make you happy with something you did not need. That ring is a whole ass wedding. Your friend is a hater watcher. She's jealous. You on this TV show, she's jealous. You still with this guy that was supposed to like blow up in her face and make her look bad on TV, and he hasn't. The only person who's made Melissa look bad is Melissa and Donna. But you get my point. And the friend is like, yeah, it seems like something nefarious. What's it to you? What's it to you? You're not involved. The police aren't going to come knocking at your door. She's hating. And Melissa's friend is like, oh, is he selling drugs? I mean, no, but no. Get that bitch from around you. And she shouldn't be in your goddamn wedding. Yes, Melissa, friend is jealous. Sorry, it's not hard for me to sniff jealous people out. That's how they act. So you can bring something to your friend's attention without being mean and outwardly suspicious on camera. That to me is another intention of trying to embarrass her. Okay? I hope Louie banned you from the funeral, not the funeral. The wedding, the way John McCain banned Trump from his funeral. Remember he wrote that in his will? And like Donald Trump couldn't even come to his funeral. He couldn't speak or nothing. Glory days. Anyway, so the gemologist said the ring doesn't have this marking that says 14 karat or whatever. He said it's illegal not to have a mark or a stamp and then sell the piece of jewelry. He said it's nothing you're going to go to jail for. It's like, you know, one of those things or whatever. And then the friend is like, well, you said it's illegal. So if it's illegal, it's illegal. And the man is like kind of looking at her like, why are y'all tripping? I just said don't worry about it. Because he doesn't want them to think they're in jail. He was like, look, it's frowned upon in the business. It's kind of like if you're a teacher and you make copies out of a book and you may have made several copies past the copyright limit. I'm just saying I know people who've done it and they have not gone to jail. Illegal. But I mean, people don't really go to jail for it, okay? Anyway, and the man just seemed kind of be like, they just started spazzing out in the office. Like, I know he'd be like, get the fuck out of here. This is a quiet place. Anyway, so Melissa goes home. Melissa, you were talking way too much about your personal business to your hating ass friend. Okay? She confesses to Louie when she gets there that after her wedding dress shopping, she went to get their ring of praise. And I could tell he was already annoyed. Like, why would you do that? Okay, he was like, oh, okay, now here comes the but. She didn't ask him anything. Instead, what she did was she started accusing him of buying a ring from a truck or an illegal place, and she needs to know what he got it into. And I'm going to be honest with you, my heart sank for Louie. It really did. Because he worked his fucking ass off and practically went broke trying to get you that ring because you said that's what you wanted. And he wanted to make you happy. Melissa, you're a fucking asshole. And you're ungrateful. And it should have been something you did privately at worst. Forget at best. At worst. You should have never taken anybody else to go with you, including them damn cameras. That hurts. Nobody likes to do something that big for their significant other, whatever it may be, and it go unappreciated and disrespected like that. You don't deserve him. Louie, just start sleeping with the girls you trained in or something. Anyway, so Bianca and Daniel, I'm so over them. I don't ever want to see them again in life. I don't even know if I'll mention them when this show comes on. So Bianca's telling her friend she's not on birth control and they're not being safe, like having safe sex or whatever. Her words, not mine. Then she tells her friend Haley, but she's okay with having a baby. And her friend was like, you're upset about him not giving you a ring, but you're okay with having his baby. And she was like, well, I feel like if I have a baby, he'll just give me a ring. I said, that has got to be the easiest way in the world not to fucking get one. He already has a kid y'all don't hardly talk about. We only heard about him once. And my mother told me this when I was like 10 years old. I don't remember who necessarily it was about. Well, I do, but I don't, somebody that she was teaching me a lesson about, somebody like in their 20s at the time, that the easiest way to lose a man is to have a baby by him. Don't ever try to trap somebody. That's what she said to me. And this was a lesson she reminded me over and over again, just to be mindful of. So Bianca has clearly misled her friend Haley. Bianca is also a shit starter. So when they sit down and they're talking to Daniel, she said, well, I didn't tell her what you were in for because it wasn't my story to tell. I said, bitch, you tell her everything else. And she says she wants to know why you were in jail. So she's asking Daniel questions. He's answering. Haley, basically, when she gets interviewed, is like, no, Bianca can do better than Daniel. I said, no, she can't. No, she can't. The bitch is crazy. So Wednesday Addams wakes up and Daniel comes in to see what time Haley is leaving so he can take her to the airport. He wants that bitch out of his house. That's what... Okay, because all this is a bit much and both of y'all yap like poodles. Anyway, so Haley says she wants to touch base with Daniel while Wednesday Addams goes to get bagels and stuff. I'm surprised she didn't make Daniel do it, since he got to get up and hand her coffee and shit. She brings up how she thinks he love bombed her based on what Bianca told him. And he agrees that he understands how it looks, that he said some things that he regrets saying. He explains that honestly their life is moving too fast. Okay. And he explained to her how he regrets, essentially what he was referring to is asking her to marry him. I mean, he's not saying anything to Haley that he didn't say to Wednesday Addams. But my thing is, it's none of your business, Haley. But Wednesday told his cousins all of their sexual business. So I guess now he decided he'd tell you all of their business. So she was like, she knows from experience, men know what they want. I was like, really? Because you just said you was with a drug addict. I don't trust your experience either. Neither one of y'all seem too bright. So anyway, she says men know what they want and he needs to cut the cord because she's hoping for more. He told her already. See, she didn't tell you that part. He told her already. They need to break up or at least get off this damn show. We're done with y'all. Moving on. My problematic favorite. Last. But now they say, oh, my arm is sore. I had to go get. Well, I went and got. There's been an outbreak of whooping cough. 19th century Oregon Trail disease is an outbreak. And now we about to have Robert F. Kennedy with his dumb worm in the brain ass cutting off vaccines and stuff because there was an outbreak of it. So I just went to go get a booster. I mean, I always got my whooping cough shots, but just in case, it's called pertussis. That's the official name, but it's kind of sore. Anyway, so Troy is upset. He should be. This chick keeps yelling at him, right? He goes to take a minute because they're doing Project Heal or whatever. He walks away from her because he's mad. He's mad he can't see his daughter. He's mad his mother's taking him back home after they done left them out there for 90 minutes because she refused to go and pick them up because she was really doing that shit at Staples and every other in gas stations and wherever she was, really to fuck up his day and to keep him from seeing his daughter. That's purposeful. That's not by accident. So she then gets in the car where he's just trying to lean for a second so he can have one fucking moment to himself. He turns around and this bitch is like, what? What are you looking at? I said, is she for real right now? Zaria, you are crazy as fuck. And Troy, you crazy as hell for staying with her. All right? Troy, she's not worth it. And the way your finances look, y'all, she hasn't been paying the rent, lying to you about it. Project Heal needs 50 signups. Apparently they got them, but that's even when you talk about like grant funding, that still takes a second to process. My thing is, all I have to say about that is it doesn't seem like y'all would have much to split among you because y'all don't have no kids together. Go divorce her. This is not going to work. And the longer you stay in it, the worse it's going to get. She then says, why are you doing this on our anniversary? I said, not the chick that kicked him out the car. Not the chick that was telling him he's texting other chicks, accusing him of cheating. That's who you want to celebrate your anniversary with? You the one lying about everything that was going on with y'all's finances all this time. She was dead ass wrong. There is no way to come back from it. And she keeps worrying about who he's texting. He was like, don't worry about it. It's not because he's texting other women. And if he is, quite frankly, being with somebody who you have to constantly worry about doing that, is exhausting and y'all don't need to be together. That's how I know you like that crazy shit. Anyway, his daughter left the train station and his mother left. And yeah, that's on you, Troy. That's on you. She apologizes really because she wants him to come back and help her with the stuff with her family, where her son is, where her parents are. Meanwhile, his daughter took a train trip all the way down and back up. That's a lot for a small kid. Okay? And he now has to talk to his baby mama about why his little girl got back on the train and back home 3 hours after she left. Yeah, you got explaining to do, Troy. And now he is only confirming why Jana doesn't want that little girl down there. You've given her a reason to make her feel unsafe. Don't nobody just want their child somewhere. Your mama already crazy. She doesn't love you, Troy. She doesn't. I don't know what you think love is. I don't know what she thinks it is. But I know that y'all are married at the end of the day. But you are not slave to that institution of marriage. So still saying like, at the end of the day, we married. Like that's the death knell. If it is, once again, it is not the way to do things. So Troy's going to pick up his daughter. Zaria decides she is going with him because she doesn't want him really to deal with his baby mama alone. Not because she give a damn about little Troy. You don't want him talking to Jana without you there. Why is not Jana. What was I going to say? I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I was like, why is Zaria mad at Jana? And Troy, like she wasn't the whole problem. She fucked everything up the day before. Troy calling his baby mama annoying, saying like, that's why I'm mad. Really, it's to make Zaria feel better, and that shit is whack. If she drove down for you to see your daughter and address you, first of all, that's already something very personal to her. She is not the problem. Your wife's selfishness is the problem, and your unwillingness to stand up to her is the problem. She drove down there to talk to you about why her daughter was whether that little girl's in the car or not, it doesn't matter. That happened to her child and on your watch with this bitch. So, Jana shows up to the park, and you could tell by the way Jana had come down there with that hat and her hair in the ponytail, she was ready for anything, okay? She was there to fight for her baby. Now, he asked her where, Troy is. And she said she's not here. And you need to give Troy a proper apology. That's hurtful to a kid. That's disappointing to go somewhere to see your father who's been in jail all these years and like he's not showing up for you again. This is what I mean. That's deeper than just, oh, you missed them at the train. Like, he said, well, I can't give her one if she's not there. She's trying to talk to you, Troy, before you see that child. I don't know whether she's in the car or not, but so y'all have a conversation and a clear understanding of why this can't happen again. She knows, little Troy, you don't. You've been in jail, and that's just what it is. So, Troy, whatever she has to say to you, you have to take it. Because y'all fucked up yesterday. All right, that raggedy bitch, acne face hoe you married fucked up. Any mother would be pissed with you. She can't talk to you on the phone. She can't hardly text you because Zaria is always up in your phone and face and looking for an argument. She says to him clearly, she did not mince words. She said, I have a kid with you. I mean, baby mama, you already know how I feel about this. I don't have a kid with your wife. Facts. Now, see, also, Zaria, I noticed how you wasn't popping off at the mouth. And I think that's because Jana will fuck you up. You can't fight. Anyway, Zaria, because you chose to make Troy the default father for your son, doesn't mean Jana is willing to allow you to become the default mother for her daughter and get out the way. She has every reason to be upset, and they should have a private conversation. If that's what she wants to do, that's what she wants to do. He's been in jail for 7 years. She does have to reestablish that relationship. He hasn't been out of jail long enough for her to get a read on him alone after spending that much time in prison. You could easily make yourself scarce in this process. You could have walked over there, fed the ducks or something just to kind of get out the way, even if you was just kind of listening. But see, you don't have no tact. All right. Jana was like, she doesn't want to have a conversation with somebody else around. She's absolutely right. She's a stranger. And she brought up, she was like, she was married and divorced her baby daddy and then got with you and you were her cellmate. She was like, we need to have stability in this. Nothing Jana asked for, nothing was unreasonable. Not a thing. Even the way she behaved at that like winter barbecue they had. She did not pick a fight. Troy did not have to say Zaria's the only one with the same last name as you and all that stuff. He didn't have to do that. And she could have really reacted to that kind of stuff. They got the microphones. Then for Zaria to sit there when Jana says, see, now is the time for you to control your husband. She was like, you talking, that's a grown man right there. I can't do nothing. When was he a grown man when you put his ass out the car at Staples? Was he a grown man when you told him he wasn't going any fucking where from the church parking lot of all places? And that he couldn't see his daughter or mama? He was a grown man then? Miss me. Troy, your rights to your daughter could easily be legally taken away. She could easily argue for full custody because now this shit is on camera and Zaria is unhinged. And you're married to her. You can't play with people. I mean, she could really go gutter if she wants to because she honestly has plenty of reasons to. I wouldn't want Zaria around my kid either. Anyway, y'all, that's all I got. But I'll talk to y'all tomorrow for Love and Marriage Huntsville. Y'all enjoy your Friday night. I'll talk to y'all soon.